He's to give his son this name, Maher-shalal-hash-baz, which is a name that means quickly spoil, rapidly plunder. And he's to do this because before he is even old enough to learn how to cry out, Abi or Imi, my father or my mother, then the shalal of Damascus, the wealth of Damascus, and the baz of Samaria, the spoil of Samaria, are going to be carried away before the king of Assyria. So these are the two smoking firebrands that we've talked about before. They're both going to be taken away in what is a recurring theme for the wonderful children here, before the child becomes a certain age. In this case, an age old enough to say Abi and Imi, which are simple words, and we would expect that to be in the child's first few years. Both these words, Maher and Hash, meaning quickly or speedily, they're kind of synonyms, as are Shalal and Baz. They are used next to each other back in chapter 5, verse 19. And this name might be a direct reference to those arrogant and impatient folks who felt that the prophecies would never be fulfilled. Before the child learns to say Abi and Imi, the prophecy is going to be filled, so maybe a year or two. The other two parts of his name, which are Shalal and Baz, they show up in a fun arrangement coming up in chapter 10, verse 6, where it says, Lishlo sha'al v'laboz baz. You may notice here these similar words that are used in both the verb and the noun there, in a common Hebrew format there. It means something like to spoil, spoil, and to plunder, plunder. And this is speaking of the king of Assyria. This is likely a reference to the name of this son. And sometimes these things are hard to see in translation. It seems like these two verses are intentionally tied to his name. There's also a somewhat hard to understand reference in chapter 33, verse 23, that has both Shalal and Baz in it. We can discuss that more when we get over there, but it's hard to say exactly what that particular verse means or to tie it in here. But otherwise, Maher-shalal-hash-baz is not mentioned again, ever.